The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of Why We Pod, the podcast about why people pod, hence the name. I'm Rich Meranto. I'm the owner and operator of Emerge Media Creators Co-op here in Niagara Falls, and the purpose of this pod is to really just sit and talk with other podcasters and find out kind of what brings us all together, why we do this. Certainly not for the money, because I don't know anybody who's making the big bucks yet, but so what's our goals? What are our themes? And I'm super lucky to have so many great creative partners that work out of my building, and nobody more deserving that I wanted to interview. When I was thinking of the first 5 interviews that I wanted to do, one of my first podcasters, Ariana Sneed.
Hi, Rich.
How are you? Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming in. I mean, obviously appreciate you and Brittany are a big part of what we've been accomplishing at Emerge so far. And so just thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
So it's real. We're just going to have some fun.
We're having fun.
So,
we're already having fun.
Well, if there's any pod that has fun, it's your pod.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever been like a Debbie Downer episode. They're always
even our episode about death, which is my favorite episode we did in season 1. It was like lighthearted and like, you die. Yeah. Then what?
So let's get right into it.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about the pod. But start right off. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
About me. So ironically, I feel like everybody from our company for the most part knows you as Mr. Meranto from the high school. I didn't grow up in our area. I grew up in Lansing, Michigan. And so before I moved, Brittany is my cousin, but she was my neighbor. So we grew up together. She knows the ins and outs of my family as I do hers. I'm the most comfortable with Brittany. So like we, fast forward to our podcast, we are comfortable, and like our life together is the foundation of what we're doing. And I love networking. I love social media marketing, and I love content creation. So being here is great. And
well, again, your mom's from Niagara Falls?
Both my parents are from Niagara Falls.
So you were here for a while, but then your mom went to
She got accepted to law school in Michigan. So me and my 2 little brothers and my mom moved to Lansing, Michigan, and we didn't know anybody there. We didn't have family.
How old were you when?
I was 8 when we moved. Yeah.
And how long before you came back?
I was 18. So
so you were gone. I don't think I realized you were gone that long. I thought you were, for some odd reason in my mind, thought you maybe you were a little bit older, like you were like 10 or 12.
No, I was 8 when we moved, and I was 18 when I moved back.
Did you come back a lot? I mean, how did you maintain that friendship with Brittany?
We were, the first few years, we came back for every holiday. And I mean, we were back for Valentine's, Halloween, New Year's, Christmas, like literally every holiday that I remember, we would be driving back, because if you cut through Canada, it's only 5 hours.
Right.
And I mean, one time, I hope the statute of limitations is up, but one time my mom did it in 3.5 hours to drive with us. So, it was our comfort. It's still, to me, Niagara Falls is my comfort. My family's here. It's better food. Right. Like, I was always more comfortable here than I was in Michigan. So,
well, it was the thing, because your mom went to school, and then she got a job.
She got a job out of law school.
And is she still there?
No. So now my mom is doing, she's an attorney in New York City, and both my brothers and her live in New York City.
Oh, okay.
Which I lived there for a spurt because I went to school there, and it got old quick. And a lot of people are like, New York City got old quick.
So what'd you go to school for? I mean, the funny thing is I know the answers to these questions, but like, obviously I'm trying to, so it's kind of funny. Like, it's not like we've never met. So
no, right.
But what'd you go to school for?
You know all of my secrets.
Right.
So I went to school. I went to FIT, the Fashion Institute of Technology, and I went for import-export regulations, which is miserably boring. And it's just not me. Pretty much most people in my program either went on to work Customs/Border Patrol, or they went into licensing law. And I was just like, to give 2 shits about all of those things. So,
but you finished. You got the degree.
I finished. I got the degree, and then I moved back, and I started, which is so like ill-fitted for me. I was an executive for Boy Scouts, a district executive, and I did that for 10 long months. Right. And then I started working at a rehab facility, and then COVID hit, and I was only there for about 2-3 months, and they laid me off. And then during, COVID and everyone shut in or not really working, I got the opportunity to work for the school district. I'm a psychologist assistant. Right. And my cousin is your wife's assistant.
And that's kind of how we ended up. So
Yeah.
for the people that don't know, Meranto Media, which is the parent company that owns Emerge,
Yes.
is owned by my wife. My wife's the president of the company,
Mhm.
and for what kind of happened was my wife said to me one day, she called me. I like to call my wife at work, and
Yeah.
and we have these these company meetings while she's at work, and she said, you need to have less mansplaining.
Yeah.
Podcasts and I said, well, you're the president, maybe you should find a podcast. And I think that day she
Mhm.
talked to you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she talked to you that day.
So it was funny.
So
because
the running joke's been she's employee of the month a lot because
she brings in the talent.
she brings in the talent. So, but I mean,
Yeah.
like literally that day, and I think you guys came over like within a couple days,
Yeah.
and then we just got it organized, and we
Right.
started a month or so later.
Well, it's funny because your wife was telling, shout out to our president, Madam Maria
Madam
Meranto.
Maria.
Yeah. She was telling Kara about like you guys' company and just the direction it's going in and how you've already have such like a good co-op here.
Yep.
And just she was just genuinely sharing with my cousin Kara, who's her assistant. And we were at my birthday dinner and Brittany was on the right side of me and Kara was on the left side. And me and Brittany were just talking and laughing. And Kara was like, Brittany's voice would be so good for a
Oh,
podcast.
she's hilarious.
And then I think it was like not even so that my birthday is during winter break. It was like the first day back from break. And
Right.
I talked to Maria and she was just like, what do you think about that? And I was just like, I mean, I'm down. I'll talk to
Yeah.
Brittany and we'll see. And then we met with you. And then me and you had a few, like, not in-person meetings, but a few separate meetings. And I was just like, I'm so down, but this needs to make sense for my branding. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need to take on another thing
Yeah.
that's not going to fit or grow because I've committed
So
to
the-
content
so
things
it's-
that didn't work.
And I like to use your podcast as
Yeah.
an example because one of the things I learned early on was customer service.
Yeah.
And you guys came in and we talked about your thinking and we looked at it in an environment and you guys were pretty like you guys were trying to be so polite and then eventually one of you finally said
It was
like
me, Brittany
we
yelled
don't
at
like
me
this
after.
set. And I was fine with that. But that was a great learning opportunity for me
Yeah.
trying to run a business. And making sure, and we ended up designing a completely separate set for you. And, we used that until we moved to this site. And then we had you guys, ladies, design your own set
Yeah.
when you got over here. And I think that's kind of that collaborative. That's what I've always wanted Emerge to be,
Yeah.
is to be this collaborative environment where I'm not claiming I know everything.
Mhm.
I just want to be able to figure out with each of my podcasts or my content creators what they want and what they need.
Yeah.
And I think that's why our relationship and our partnership works with the two of you
Yeah.
because like if you're whatever you want to do, I'm up for it.
Yeah. And
Even though sometimes I'm like, we're what? The first time you guys drank and we're doing shots, it was kind of like, whoa,
Yeah, we're good drinkers.
But
and
I
on our
don't get as
podcast, we
embarrassed as I used to get.
No, I mean, I think we've definitely tailored back on like oversharing, especially our sexual business and like Rich on our podcast is Rich Almighty. Like you're the man behind the camera. You're, the almighty knowing. And like you, poor Rich, he has to hear so many stories that he's just like,
It's funny now because I really feel like I know you both really well.
Yeah,
and
for
I'm
sure.
and I say this and I've said this to all my guests like
Yeah.
because all the guests I've had so far are people I've known for a while and it's just really is exciting. That's fun and I can't wait for you guys to come in and so talk a little bit about the pod.
Yeah.
Like it's a little bit more about the pod. What's it called? What's
So,
the socials?
I am the co-host of A&B Conversation. It's Ariana and Brittany Conversation. A lot of people never caught on to that, and we jokingly call our fan base the ABCs, which
Oh, that's cute.
hopefully we'll get merch and start really making a profit from that brand. But A&B Conversation, our socials are at ABConvo19 on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I think that's it right now.
Yep.
Then we have our YouTube channel, which is that's my baby.
You're in your second season.
We're in season 2. Yeah, we just did episode 30.
So we're getting
We're almost at 2 years.
Yeah, when you get to 2 years, you'll be almost at 100 episodes or pretty
Yeah.
close to it.
Yeah.
And that's an accomplishment. I like, it was funny when we were designing the business and we were doing all the business plans and everything, realized that like 92% of podcasts do not make it past 7 episodes.
Yeah.
And only like, I think 2 to 3% make it to 100.
Yeah.
And that's like a pretty, so that's why people, everybody has a podcast. But then I'm
Yeah.
like, but I think what is the commitment that, you two have, even if it's a bad week.
Oh, yeah. me and Brittany, like, we are so yin and yang. Like, she's very lackluster and, like, she operates out of her heart, and I
Right.
definitely operate out of my mind and very, like, type A, no room for bullshit.
Right.
And she's more forgiving than I am, and she gives a lot of grace. And, like, for me, the standard is this is a commitment, and we committed to, if nothing else, we can sit our asses in that chair
Yeah.
for 30 minutes, overshare, and be
Yeah.
done with it. And other than people being sick, like, we've come in blizzards, we've come
Yeah.
during holidays, like, 9 times out of 10, our audience is going to get a new episode from us every Thursdays at 6
Yeah.
p.m. Unless there's something crazy happening, and we share that, like, no episode
Yeah.
this week, go check out our favorites or
And,
go
and that,
back.
I think, like, one of the things that everybody will, the first thing they'll tell you about podcasts is, like, enough content,
Yeah.
and frequency. You got to have a consistency, and you got to be frequent. And that's sometimes, like, what I struggle with people, like, well, I'm only going to do one every couple months. I'm like, you're going to have a hard time growing your brand.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't care, that's fine.
Right.
But if you really want to try to grow it, then it's going to be definitely. So your podcast is great because it's always a little bit different.
Yeah.
I do like you have reoccurring themes,
Mhm.
Episodes where you kind of revisit them, but they're always fresh. Like, I've never
Yeah.
felt like, oh, we already did this. Like, I've never felt like sitting in that producer chair that, like, we
So,
hadn't had this. And
Britt
you've
and
had
I-
a lot of different guests and a couple
Yeah.
returning guests.
Right. Britt and I have a shared notes in our phone, and we have well over a couple hundred bullet points of topics we want to cover and things that are related to, like, we circle back to, those reoccurring
Yeah.
things. We have Truth or Shot, we have Grinds My Gears, we have Unpopular Opinion.
Right.
We love a drinking game, and those
Yeah.
are things we do in our life. So it's like, we're going to circle back to the things that are relevant to us because it's actually something we're doing in our life, not just because, oh, let's try it again.
So, and obviously you're two very, very different people.
Yeah.
And I want to have Brittany on when I do, like, the second season because I
Yeah.
want to hear her perspective on a lot of this. But one of the things was, like, why a podcast? Like, you had already done some content.
I have, yeah.
You'd already been kind of an influencer in your
right.
own way.
I'm going to get into it. Like, why not? We're
Okay,
here.
why not?
So when I was an executive for Boy Scouts, I was doing really sexy content. And I have struggled with, in my content creation, putting out what is authentic to me or what my audience gravitates towards. And it does ebb and flow, but my audience more often than not is men within my age group. And I know what they're looking for. They're looking
Right.
at me to be sexy or to post in that way. So there was a time in my life where I was heavily posting, like, lingerie, bikini pics, and, like, my engagement was crazy high. And it wasn't inauthentic to me, but it wasn't representing my ins and outs of my day-to-day life. And at the time when I was an executive for Boy Scouts, one of the people I was managing reported it to the corporate office and said that she wanted me fired, and she threatened to sue the council I was working for if, I wasn't reprimanded, even though there was not a social media clause in my contract.
Right.
It did, it didn't feel good. It felt isolating. I felt judged. But as I get older too, I realized, like, I want to share all aspects of my life and not
Right.
just one aspect that I think people will like. Like, I'm down
Yeah,
to get
I mean,
canceled.
unfortunately, there's, and that's something that, I mean, like, you get bombarded with it on Instagram
Yeah.
and places like that now.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I think that's, when you're younger, it's like, well, I want to just get the clicks.
I just wanted it. I wanted
Yeah.
clickbait. I wanted the engagement. And I didn't even want male attention. I just wanted my social media to
It's so
grow.
weird for me too, because, like, now that I know you really well,
Yeah, that's
and I
not
just
even
can't,
me.
like, and I'm like, but that's so not her. Like,
No.
it really isn't you.
It's not me. And I joke with, like, my friends and, like, my inner circle, like, God, like, is really looking out for me because, like, I just look good like, I'm really weird and, like, a hippie. Like, I just have, like, a good exterior that doesn't really match, like, my personality. Like, I just want to go to the farmer's market and, like, just veg out. Like, I'm not
That's
really
funny.
like,
Yeah.
as badass as I feel like my looks look.
Yeah. So then obviously, like, that had stopped for a while.
I cut it out for a hot minute. My socials
Were you
went
doing
private.
anything during COVID or no? Or you kind of stopped it by then?
No. Because I got fired, or I quit Boy Scouts, and then COVID happened like a few months later. Like, I just took, I don't want to say a break, but I just was living in, like, a fitness bubble, and I just was enjoying working out and being to myself. And I have social anxiety, so I was just like, cool, I don't have to go out, even though I love being out. So
Right.
it's just like a juxtaposition there. But no, I just took a break. I had my socials private, and I wasn't looking to grow. And then, creative spurts
Well, I was
happen.
certainly excited, and I think that your pod, I mean, we had some like whatever things that we had to work out,
Yeah.
technical and just, format wise. But I feel like your pod really hit the ground running.
Yeah.
It really did. Like, I feel like early on, if you went back and looked at some of your early episodes, there's some really good episodes early on. Like, I don't think like sometimes people, and luckily you came into a time too at Emerge when I think I had a little bit of my ducks in a row too.
Yeah.
Like I was starting to, we joke about when Tank was on, he was my first guest, how bad, like our conceptually what we
Yeah.
wanted the studio to feel like was just wrong.
Not there. Yeah.
It wasn't there.
It wasn't there, yeah.
And the person that kind of asked us questions about why it looked like that, lighting wise, it was only with us about 5-6 episodes.
Yeah.
She was a co-host on a pod that didn't last.
Yeah.
But it was like, even that person added to the quality of my life because she was like, she was very polite. She wasn't rude.
Yeah.
She was just like, but I don't understand the lighting.
It's not for nothing, but it's not everything, and it just grows old quick. Like,
Right.
I don't walk around my house in bikini all the time. I'm not in full glam all the time. Like, I do want to share when I go to the gym, and
Yeah.
I'm just like sweaty and just, whatever my life consists of versus
But I think that's
feeding my
everybody.
audience. 100%.
And I think that's going to, as we get into podcasting, like Why We Pod, I think we're going to tackle that. Before we get to that, let's go to a couple other things. Like, let's talk about your pod in general. Like, obviously I do your production work and I do your uploading, but how much prep time do you kind of need, or is it just kind of ongoing and whenever kind of happens?
So some things are super pre-planned. Like I said, I am type A. I love planning. I love organizing. And Brittany is like fly by the seat of her pants, and it always works out in her favor,
Right.
which I think is so great for both of us. Because some things I'm so like rigid on, and like she is just like, it'll work out. It's okay. We're gonna be okay. But it just depends on the episode. Like some things, it just really depends on our mood. Like we don't, if I don't want to drink that day, we're not going to do truth or shot.
Right.
Or if she's not in the best headspace, we're not going to then rip 18 shots on the podcast and then overshare and it contribute to her, maybe her having a poor mental health spell. Like we have to ebb and flow, but I love pre-planning our content. So it just depends. Like
How important do you think when you watch your episodes, because then you're going to do, I know your post-production work, how much do you notice when you definitely plan? You're like, all right, I'm happy the way this episode came out.
Yeah.
I'm happy the flow of it. I mean, obviously there's episodes where it just kind of happens.
I hate some episodes. Yeah. There's a few episodes and I'm like, God, why did I overshare? Why did I even suggest this topic? But for me, it's always like, okay, there's another week, you can move on.
Right.
Like, don't, just move on from it. Focus on what you can
So
better.
the preparation, though, you definitely feel like has led to some of your best episodes.
Yes and no. I think it's just me and Brittany's synergy. Like some days I'm not into it and she's not into it. It might be something we pre-planned and we were like all into, and then that day we had a shitty day.
But there are days where you kind of just have to plow
You have to grit and bear and just move on.
You do all your own post-production work.
I do, yeah. So how her and I break it up is I will pre-watch the episode before it goes live publicly. I will then chop it up, email her clips. While the clips are being emailed to her, I start creating our thumbnail. And while we're on set, we'll take a selfie. And the selfie always goes in the thumbnail. So then I want to say, thumbnail.
I think your thumbnails are the best thumbnails of any podcast I've seen because they're never the same.
No.
Like there's no format to them. And I rip off your idea when I do my thumbnails because I'm like, I never use the same background. Nope. It's always different. It's always a different picture. Yeah. And you actually take a picture.
We take a picture each week.
I usually just grab screenshots from the people I'm working with.
Yeah, no, every week. And I think that's one of the joys I have with the podcast is the post-production stuff. Like I love cutting up the clips. I love looking at trending audio to see what I want to post. I love looking at templates for thumbnails and seeing what other content creators are using and ones that are
How important do you think that has been for that other stuff? Like
I think
the thumbnail, the shorts, things like that.
I think I would say it's probably 80% of our success. Like if I wasn't meticulous about it and also loved it, I don't know if the reels and the TikToks would get people to follow that link over to our social, to our YouTube channel to watch or, listen to the audio.
So who makes the short content?
So for the shorts, it's me. I email it to her, but she also has been like, Brittany is slow to getting into content creation, but she's really, she's on an upward tick and she's now getting into versions on how to cut it and post and subtitles. And, it wasn't her original love, but she's growing to love it.
That's great. I mean, I
Yeah.
think one of the things why podcasts tend to work is when you're able to break down the work.
Yeah.
Like, again, Tank does 90% of the work himself,
Yeah.
but that's what he went to school for. That's what he loves to
Yeah.
do. And he's kind of accepted that his co-hosts are just there to be
Yeah.
part of the
They're
crew.
the talent.
You
Yeah.
know, and then where over here, when we're
Yep.
doing 716, like, Julian, Ryan, Christian, they all have things that they do. Jack does 99% of the editing,
Yeah.
but they also do so many other things. So they've diversified the brand because
Mhm.
they have so many different types of content. They have a whole cast of characters.
And there have been spurts where I've done the bulk of the work, and it's not anything to do with Brittany. It's all me. I'm a control freak, and
Right.
like Brittany jokes about that. Like I'm a control freak, and the things I control always work out well, but it doesn't really leave that much room for her to contribute. Which it's
I'm a bit of a control freak too, and I
Yeah.
think that's one of the reasons we get along.
Yeah.
Is because like and it's how hard it is to have Mateo over there pressing buttons, like, and I'm glad I found someone that I trust because, but there is this part of me like I need to get
it's
up.
your vision.
and
You got it. Yeah, yeah.
Well, and he's a better audio engineer than me, so that's for sure. So,
Yeah.
but there is this aspect of it's my business, and like even
Yeah.
why I like the president and I have these conversations, and I will say to her, and that's why she's so great because she really just listens. I mean, that must be that school psychologist
Yeah.
in her, and she's got that dog in her, and she will just listen, and then she'll say, "Wait," and then
Yeah.
she'll let me get it out, and she'll say, and one of the things she talked about, she's like, it's great if you want to have help. She says, but I think people are expecting to work with you.
Yeah.
So it's not that you can't use Mateo or Jack or
Right.
Nico or whoever to fill in and stuff. But I think if you just kind of start handing off things completely, you'll lose those relationships. And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of what Emerge is about.
You know us. You know when Brittany's going to start talking,
Right.
when my ADHD brain
Yeah.
is going to interrupt Brittany, and like you know how to cut the cameras that way.
Yeah.
Like if we ended up with a new producer, we would have to really reset and explain and rebuild the relationship, which would impact our brand.
And I think a producer is an important part of the relationship as the on-air talent.
100%.
And that's kind of like why I really kind of enjoy what I'm doing. What are you using for like? Because obviously you have your audio versions
Yeah.
on Spotify and on our network
Yep.
and Apple, and then you also are your YouTube channel. But
Yep.
where else are you going with things?
So right now, our TikTok and our Instagram, our engagement on our Instagram, I think last month we had 28,000 views to our profile. And now I'm challenging myself, like, how can I grow this? What
Right.
clickbait can I do? Like, what can I do, negative or positive, to get us more publicity to grow this? Brittany and I do talk about growing into the merch sector of our podcast
Right.
too, which is a lot of work. And we just need to really commit to doing it
Right.
and tag teaming it. We haven't done it yet.
Right.
We have so many concepts. Like we play a drinking game at least once a month on the podcast. And
Right.
I'm like, we need to get a deck of cards produced for us.
Right.
We need to get merch produced for us. And we have such loyal following that I know we could profit from it, but we just haven't.
Yeah.
We haven't
That's
done
interesting,
it
and I don't think I even realized that that was the thing you guys were thinking of.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a good idea. Like even start with something small. I think
Yeah.
it's a cool idea. How about the TikTok?
yet. See, I will say, like, Brittany, I don't do TikTok. Brittany
Okay.
does it. I don't even check
Is there
it.
any difference between the Instagram and the TikTok? Is it the same video?
No, it's not the same. So Brittany does Clear Cut, so that's the
Right.
editing software she prefers to post. She will post the clips I send her, which
Right.
I mix on
So it's
my
the
laptop.
same basic content,
Yes,
but it's just
it's different, different
it's-
clips and
yeah.
different audio.
And I
Yeah.
think that's the fact that I think that's important because
Yeah, it's
then
not
it's
double
almost a
dosed.
different thing. Even if it's the same 90 seconds or whatever, it just looks different.
It looks different
Because
and
TikTok's
it's
a very
not-
vertical format.
Mhm. And
Even
it's
and Instagram is too, but
it's
I mean,
shorter
like,
time
Yeah.
spans. I think that the shorter.
do you have an idea what the most popular TikTok has? Like how many?
I don't. She told me, and I totally forgot. I know our most popular reels had something like some thousands of views, and like one of the times we went live around that time of our reels blowing up, there was a man trolling us. I mean, we have no clue who this
Right.
person was, but like he helped us get some views. Like he helped our comments. I'm not really attached to the analytics as much as I am just getting it under our belt. Like
Right.
more is more for me with content creation, and I just want to slam it out.
Right. I kind of think we've already talked about this, but are there
Yeah.
any challenges in particular you faced with this? Like anything in particular
My
that
God,
like
yeah. Brittany and I were cousins and we're best friends. We have totally different views on everything in the world and different hobbies. So like bringing in guests, it's hard to bring in a guest that maybe matched my interests that she can contribute nothing to a conversation and vice versa. Like, I think the harder part is merging, no pun intended, like merging two co-hosts that love each other and are so close, but don't have similar interests or hobbies. Like, it's really hard because I said one of my things, a hard no is for me is having a guest on our podcast and I can contribute nothing to the conversation. It's my podcast. It's my responsibility to lead and have a conversation with them. And I told her, I was like, we're not going to have a brain surgeon on because what can we contribute?
Well, I even had the conversation with Tank. I was like, we were trying to decide the format of this thing. And we went back and forth. And I think I even asked your opinion. Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to have like 3 people on the couch. I think it has to be a more intimate 100%. Thing. And because otherwise I feel like there'd be whole parts of the conversation where that person sitting next to you, we're not even talking to. And it just would take it. It's not about promoting someone's pod. It's about really talking to the person. Right. And that was kind of what my goal is. So I totally understand that there's definitely like, that's why
that's my biggest challenge I faced. Is like
how to balance the running of the pod and making sure that the guests, because there are people that, oh, this is going to be a great guest. And then sometimes I've seen it and they're like, this person was just, they weren't into it or.
Yeah. Our most viewed and best guest is me and Brittany's mutual best friend, Jade. And she's not super active on socials. I think her primary source of content is Snapchat, which is temporary. It's not huge on editing. And she did phenomenal. One of her reels is still blowing up now. We're at a few thousand views. And she's private socials and just, it worked.
So when you're getting ready for the pod, because you're very much about what you wear.
I am.
Even today, you were trying to decide what set I was on, what should I wear. Yeah. Is that like, what's the thing that's the hardest thing for you to get yourself motivated for when you're coming in on Wednesday?
Truly, it's making sure, and it's funny because it's something you probably don't experience with the boys, is making sure I have a new outfit. Right. Because for typical media or any photo-based or video production, it helps to have a new outfit. Right. So it doesn't look like it's a repeated topic. And I actually learned that when I was really young, with like paparazzi, celebrities would wear the same outfit, so the magazine would sell less because it looked like repeated content. Right. So we do spend a decent amount of money on outfits and I will say, didn't wear this or don't have that.
I was a guest on your podcast once. I changed my clothes 3 times because I didn't know what to wear. Yeah. And I'm like, so even today, like I'm hopefully I don't wear this. I've only done 3 episodes, but I guarantee you I'll be like, you wore that because I hate my clothes. Yeah. I hate all my clothes. I'm a comfort guy.
Yeah. Like you can do comfort cool.
Thank you.
But I do comfort cool. Come on.
But I felt like I gotta at least put on a nice shirt. Yeah. I can't just wear a hoodie. Like I wear hoodies when I'm sitting there and I'm watching a DC movie with my son and his friends. Yeah. And if I jump on Tanks, who cares? It's a stooge podcast as he likes to call it. But if I'm doing this, I feel like, well, at least make an effort. Yeah. I'm not putting a shirt and tie in because I haven't worn a tie. I mean, I don't even own a suit. What? I don't own a suit.
I'll go thrifting and get you a suit. I can get you like a good Calvin Klein.
So when my son was in high school, my older son, we went to like an event that he got honored at. Yeah. And I wore this suit and he's like, what is that suit you're wearing? Like that suit is old.
You go home
it's
and
like,
toss
is it grandpa's suit? Like, so I went and got a new suit and then he needed a suit and he just took my suit. And he looks better in it, admittedly. Yeah. So, like, because we are the exact same. We're the exact same size. Yeah. And it was probably a younger person's suit anyway. I probably shouldn't have bought that suit style-wise. Yeah. So he has the suit. And I just don't want to buy a suit because I don't wear it. If I go to an event, I just put a sport coat on.
So one of our upcoming episodes is our annual A&B Conversation Awards. I so would like to have you on as a guest just so I can get you in a suit. Like, why not?
If you tell me I have to wear a suit, I'll have to borrow my suit whenever. I love it when you guys challenge me, whether it's you or any of my other, like, hey, we want to do this. And like, I want to try this. I want to try this because it makes me problem solve. Yeah. And it makes me get better at what I do. So I really am super appreciative of any time, whether it's, any of the guys tell me that, hey, let's try this. Yeah. We got to try something new. Like, how can we do that? And it's forced me to,
learn,
try new applications and new softwares and new cameras. Like we ended up with certain cameras and microphone styles that are, things like you don't want to pretend like you know everything.
No. I mean, even for like personal, like being a part of the, our creative co-op, like, you helped me with my birthday party with getting content. You created a whole photo booth around reels I saw that led me to a YouTube channel for an event planner. I want to say in LA, maybe it was West Coast. And I was like, hey, we have all these tools. Is there any way you could build this? And you like legit built me like a 6-7 foot photo booth that I had at my big ass 29th
and we had
birthday.
everything. It was just a question of how to use the equipment. And I'm stingy that way. Like I'll buy things, but like I used these are your microphone stands from the other room, and they're here today, but they'll be back in there on Wednesday. And then, but I, trying to get that consistency and all my equipment's very similar. And it is funny. I think like when you're planning this stuff out, you want to find something that works so that it's easy to use, so there's no surprises. But it is funny because, like, I know that if anybody's looking for a gift for Ari, I know she wants a gift card to the Goodwill. She'd really love a gift card to the Goodwill. And this is like I love that episode. Like, I love
our gift exchange episodes. Like I still.
And if anybody is watching this, that has watched your show, when I'm laughing in the background, that's not fake. I am dying, and sometimes in the other room.
Well, in early on, you had a conversation with us, and I was like, you were like, how do you feel? What are you thinking? I'm like, the weeks you laugh, I'm like, okay, if nothing else, one person laughed. Like, cool. Like, all right, at least something's under my belt, and I don't feel as like, how's the world going to perceive this?
My favorite thing is to go on a Wednesday night after and tell the president, Mrs. What do you call it? You call her Madam President. Madam President. Like, what did they talk about? I'm like, well, today,
like our sex-based ones. He's just like head down and sound mixing and like, that's one thing I am trying to get away from, because I think that's one thing people don't realize too. Like, my set in size is small. It's cozy. And it's me and my cousin oversharing all of our shit. Right. And then it's produced out to the world less than 24 hours later.
And you guys have been have you ever, since this is an interesting thing, we might as well go down this road a little bit. Have you ever had a situation where you said something about like one of your brothers or your mom or a cousin or a friend or former friend, and it ended up like leading to issues?
No, and I think, I don't know about Brittany, but for me, like, everyone knows I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm sharing in real time how I feel. So, and that's the trouble of like, some reality TV and podcasting, like, I'm not going to feel this way forever, but I'm sharing in the moment where I'm at, what I'm feeling. Right. So if they're upset or angry, that's just for them to work out, because that was my truth in that moment. Right. And that's one thing Brittany and I, like, we will expose the fuck out of each other or like ourselves, because we're going to be honest on the podcast. Like, come hell or high water, what we're sharing is our truth.
Talk about that a little bit, because I think this is important. Like, I don't think you guys play characters.
No. And like, there's been times where we will try to put on a facade, and Brittany's looking at me or I'm looking at her, and I'm like, you're lying. And now we have, in our YouTube channel, it says full disclaimer, we don't stay on topic. Like, we're going to air it out. Like, that's not necessarily what you do. Right. But I think it's hard when you're in such a comfortable, small environment, and you don't, realistically, some of our reels have thousands of views. We don't have thousands of people in our face watching us. Right. And it doesn't feel like that when we're oversharing. And I love it. Like, I'm not a private person by any means. Like, I tell my mom my sexual business. Like, right. My credit score is out there. Like, I love being painfully transparent, because I'm authentically me. I don't worry about judgment.
And I think that's important, because I think there's too many podcasts or even just short content
that is superficial,
that you watch and you're like, that's just not really you. I can't stand like some of the things.
A facade, and it's like just to be like, and I would rather somebody be politically correct and woke, but like, that's not how you really are. So like, cut this shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely like, a few things I've clicked on, and they're just trying to get clicks.
They're just trying to get clicks, and
I don't know. I think in the end, it
doesn't work out.
You're not going to last,
and you have to maintain that facade for weeks and weeks on end, and it doesn't work. And I mean, I don't want to pretend to be anything else, because I don't have that many stories to share about a make-believe person. Right.
Do you respond a lot to comments and things like that you get? How interactive are you on your stuff, like with comments and DMs and all that stuff? Yeah. How much do you respond to people? A lot of them are people you know.
Yeah.
But you have a lot more followers than people you know.
100%.
So
I would
like,
say
do you respond a lot?
99% is positive. Like, there's 1% that's negative, and to me, they're giving me energy. Right. And I love that. Like, I couldn't care less. Like, we have been trolled. Brittany and I have both been called ugly, dumb, like somebody commented on Brittany's weight in one of our comments, like I'm going to like the comment. Thanks for giving us energy. Thanks for, you contributed to our engagement.
So you try to interact, positive or negative. You try to interact.
They're going to get
us.
a response, or like if nothing else, like a double tap to their comment, a thumbs up. Like it's beneficial.
Do you
for
think
us.
do you think that helps grow your brand?
I think so, because I think that it creates a safe space for our audience to comment whether they like it or not. Like, we know every week, every episode is not going to be for everybody.
Right.
Like some weeks I have to prep my mom, do not watch this week.
Right.
Like you're going to be sick to your stomach. Like,
Right.
But it's going to be authentic, and they know what to expect from us, and it's going to be real.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
So what, from a technical standpoint, like what are some of, like, if you were, someone was, hey, how do you make your stuff? Like what are your go-to apps, websites, things that you're using?
So like major cheat code, Canva for thumbnails. If you literally go to Canva, search thumbnail, there are well over thousands of free templates for a thumbnail. And I just each week, like I have a preset with our branding colors, which is a beige, a pink, and like a soft black that I will mix out for creating a thumbnail. But Canva,
so you'll pick one.
I pick one.
You have your style.
I have a color preset. Yeah. And depends on the topic. Like for our award show, when we record that, I'm going to go with more reds and golds and make it more like, award show, Hollywood related theme. But yeah, I will go with a template that I like the foundation and just mix and match it until I love it. And some weeks when I don't love the topic, I don't love the thumbnail, but I get it out, get it done.
So it's funny. So you're using Canva for your thumbnail.
I'm using Canva for my thumbnail.
But you took a picture on your phone.
Yes, and that's
you always do it using one of the studio lights with this light.
Yes.
And it's always like a depth of field kind of thing where one of you's closer to the camera. And I feel like if you look at all your thumbnails, there's a consistency across the board where it's like, why did it look like that today? Like they look very consistent.
Yeah. So we purposely position ourselves. I'm a huge fan of lighting. Like I love, the more lighting, the better for me. I love a good warmth, saturation, and a brightness added to anything. So I also take the selfie that goes on our thumbnails, I take and I edit through FaceApp. So it's, it's a lot more glamorized than we look in person. Like some weeks I'm like, shit, you could tell I over edited that. Like we have more lips, a slimmer nose, more hair.
There are those days too. Like today, like I feel like I probably have a red nose because I have the stupid cold that won't go away. I'm at the end of this cold. And I'm like my third cold of the year. Yeah. And like everybody in the house is like sneezing. I bought 4 boxes of Kleenex today, so everybody can have their own box of Kleenex. It's just like, man, if I could, and I hate the way I look on camera.
Yeah.
I think I look a lot younger than I really do. So every time I'm like, where's my dad? Where's my dad on camera?
No,
like
mentally, you age yourself. Like you're a lot cooler than I think you give yourself credit for. Like you're always I don't know, God, and we're like, you do know.
I'm very self-deprecating.
Yeah.
I always have been because I don't feel like I don't think anybody should ever take themselves too seriously.
No.
And it's very short. Even because I remember even when I was like. And I use this with my children an awful lot. My children are grown; they're in their 20s, and and very proud of them and everything they do. They're both great people.
Yeah,
as they
they're
both have their
cool too, and I'm saying that unbiasedly. Like you have cool kids.
They're great kids.
Yeah.
They're tremendous people. I'm proud of them for the people they are, and like even. I often you know more about my one son Christian because he's more involved in our business here, and like he designed the lobby, and he is the one. He's the one who's like painfully, brutally honest with me about things, and I've encouraged that.
Yeah,
and it's not just like in Emerge; it's like politically
in
like,
life.
I think I posted how much he radicalized me politically like in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But having that person, with my content and my business has been, do you have that person? Do you have someone that's like that you trust that will say something to you? Is it just Brittany? Is there someone else out there, or are you pretty much like, I know?
I do know. Like I'm all in on marketing. I'm all in on like the growth of social media and what's coming next and trend forecasting. Like that was a part of one of my degrees was trend forecasting, and I've never let that go. Like I know the companies that do trend forecasting. Like I could tell you what styles and what color tones are going to be relevant in the next 2 years. Like I'm not
So this,
like-
so this is a funny thing. I'm going to
Yeah.
go into this because obviously the difference between you and the guy sitting over there wearing sports jerseys
Yeah.
and stuff like that, it's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but so, because I noticed like you guys tend to have a color scheme.
Yeah.
Like, are you because I'm like, if I saw you in Buffalo with the club
Yeah.
on a Friday night, are you dressed in is it different colors, or are you pretty much like?
So I actually dress more colorful on our set than I do in person, but I'm also like, you know, like I said, like it's hard finding a new outfit every week. And it doesn't have to be a new outfit, but it just needs to look new and,
Right.
and feel fresh to our audience. So yeah, in my personal life, I'm like, yeah, let's throw on something.
So in your mind, are you, because you wear black a lot?
I wear
So
black almost 9 times out of 10.
on the pod or just in general?
No, in my real life, I don't like. I will wear black, cream, and
Because
gray.
I've never seen you at work.
No.
And I think I've only run into you in like Wegmans like maybe once. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever, and obviously sometimes I've had to drop
Yeah,
something in the house.
right,
Like,
yeah,
I think I saw you at the hot dog stand with your grandma
Yeah.
one time.
Yeah, no, I'm
But,
not.
like, I don't run into you publicly on a regular.
I'm just a
We don't go to
neutral
the
girl.
same places.
No.
Let's put it that way.
You're not at the club with me yet.
Maybe one of these nights. Maybe it's one of
I
nights.
would
Like,
love to get you out
oh
to
my
the club.
God.
Yeah.
And I will self-deprecate because somebody like, why did Ari bring her grandpa?
No,
So
people,
like, you know,
people know about you. Like when we had our podcast party and I was introducing you to some of our business owners, and they're like, that's all Rich Almighty. And I'm like, well, actually, that's not his actual name. Like,
Right.
shit, this nickname has gone too far. Like, but yeah, no, like people, you shit on yourself. Like you're trying to uncool Rich, and Rich is cool. Like,
well, because you don't want to be like,
Free
I hated.
Rich.
Well, again, for people who probably, and I don't even. I was a teacher for 31 years,
Yeah.
and nobody wants to be the teacher that, like, nobody wants
The
the teacher
desperate
that's
one
like,
that's
hey man,
trying
I'm
too
so
hard.
cool, I'm the cool teacher, like,
Yeah.
and I would make fun of those teachers,
Yeah,
like
you do.
that was kind of like my,
Yeah.
and it was funny. One of my alumni and I were talking today, and I'm very lucky to have so many alumni, and we were talking about like something. She's a teacher now,
Yeah.
and she was talking about something she wanted to do, and I'm like, don't do that, because like everybody will
No,
hate
yeah.
you if you do that. And she was laughing. She's like, that's really good advice. She's like, that's why I texted you. She wanted my advice. I'm like, yeah, you
Yeah.
kind of have to like you have to
Where
find
to toe the
that
line.
find that balance.
Yeah,
and I. But it is funny here because so many of the people that I work through the building are former students.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think they're trying to be too nice. Like, and I'm like,
No.
I work for you now. Like, I
Yeah.
always worked for them.
right,
But in a sense,
In a
because I do
different
feel
way.
like teaching is customer service.
100%.
But here I mean, I grew up in a family business. So to me, my dad would say everything's customer service.
Yeah.
And when I try to be a good customer service manager as a teacher.
Yeah.
So like, but it's definitely.
Free Rich, just let him be cool, man.
I'm it's.
Like,
I
don't
think,
cut him
I think
short.
what
Rich
I
can
do
go to the
makes me
club.
cooler than I really am. Like
I
I'm
do think
you know,
that a merge keeps you young.
that
Insane.
was something that I was very nervous about being retired. I'm 58 now, and
Yeah.
I'm like retiring at 55, and like, how do you be relevant? And I'll tell you, like,
Yeah.
the cool experiences that I've had with people that emerge. You've been here for a lot of things,
Yeah.
and you see the diversity of the people
Yeah, you're
that come
growing.
through this room.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I updated the website yesterday because I wanted to put I put a statement on the website yesterday that said we want this to be a diverse and inclusion
100%.
environment. I
Yeah.
want people to find my website and realize I don't care what you are or who
Yeah.
you love or any of that. I want people to
You have
feel
a
like
safe space here.
yes, young, old. I want you to
Yeah.
be able to come here and feel comfortable. And I think that I'm very lucky
Unless
that
you're
everybody.
racist, then you can fuck
Well,
right
that's
off.
They don't
Yeah.
want. That's I think.
I feel like in
people-
this day and age, we got to get. I know that's how you feel. But
I
we
think
do
if
have to give
someone
that
reads the
disclaimer.
statement, they're
Yeah,
gonna know
they'll
not to call me.
understand. Yeah.
Like they're gonna like, I don't think I'm gonna go to. I'll find
Yeah,
another
no,
place
they
to go
wouldn't be
to.
happy coming on a Wednesday and.
All
yeah.
right, so you do all this stuff.
Yeah.
You guys often talk a lot about about the importance of counseling, and
100%.
therapy, and all that type of stuff. This is something that I'm really interested in talking to you about.
Yeah.
Is that we all have our demons. I have mine.
Yeah.
How much does doing this stuff help you?
So for me, I'm like routine satisfies me and it keeps me sane. So having that scheduled helps. It's not a Wednesday where I'm doing nothing and my depression sets in, or it's not a Wednesday where Brittany's depression sets in. It disrupts our mental health because it's like you have to be here, you have to be glam, and you have to share something. And if nothing else, like it's free therapy. Like there's actually a meme out there and it's like, who needs a therapist when you have a podcast? And I
Right.
kind of feel, I have a therapist now. and I have a podcast. So like those things could cure me, you know, like.
Well, and I definitely think like, again, you two in particular,
Yeah.
like you talk, you air stuff out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
My stuff, this is great for me.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I wanted to do this is because I own this building. Well, I rent this building,
Yeah.
and with my family, and I'm like, I don't even have my own content.
I
I'm
know.
a guest on. I felt like I needed, and I bounced around with different ideas, and I am feeling like, okay, this was like a cool day, like,
Yeah.
And it was funny. We were supposed to cancel. We were supposed to tape a couple weeks ago,
You
and it
were
was like
grumpy
and I was
'cause the
grumpy,
winter.
it was so cold, and
It was negative the day we were supposed
and it
to
was like
originally
I am
record.
too cold and grumpy to, and I knew that it wouldn't be a good interview.
Yeah,
and I
no.
feel like if someone's going to spend their time with me, I need to be at my best. And I will say that I've had some days where I don't want to produce. Like
Yeah.
I just want to sit on the couch and just kind of curl up in a ball
Yeah,
and like
do nothing.
be miserable in whatever's bothering me.
Yeah.
And then I come here and I feel so much better after I
Yeah.
produce. So I mean,
A lot of people don't know that too. Like you and I and Brittany, we share so much before we start recording. Like some weeks we're 40 minutes off schedule
Yeah.
because we're sitting and sharing, and
Yeah.
we have private off-camera conversations. Or after, like you will see something we said, and you're like that. You know, like it starts a conversation in a safe space for us there.
I was telling a former student of mine who was very active in the building, and she
Yeah.
does a lot of stuff together, and she's younger. And I tell her that like I feel like this is something that I think that I'll share with you is that
Yeah.
I feel like I have a duty of care,
Mm-hmm.
and people trust me, and I really really deeply care about just about everybody that comes into the building,
Yeah.
and that I feel like I have a bit of a relationship with, and like we can't do this every week and me just be
No.
like your hairdresser.
Yeah,
because
and
like
you,
it's
like,
like a relationship like you have with your hairdresser.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like I just
Yeah.
don't want to be the guy that comes in
Like
and
hits
fixes
buttons
your
and
furnace.
then like pieces
Like
out.
you know what I mean? Like you don't have a relationship with the guy that fixes your furnace,
Yeah,
but your
no.
hairdresser, you're
100%.
I-
We're
and I want to
sharing.
be that person.
Yeah.
I want to be able to like that. If you're over there sharing and saying things, you need to be like not creeped out or nervous that the guy over there is
Yeah,
judging you, so
right.
to speak. So I do feel like that's one of the reasons why I love having those conversations with you guys
Yeah.
after.
I think I'm going to try not to get emotional sharing this, but you showed up. I'm actually going to cry. You showed up to my grandma's funeral, and I was just having such a hard time, and it was such a long week, and like I was fighting with my dad about legal stuff, and like seeing your face, I was like, oh shit, like I have a normal life outside of this grief, like everything's going to be okay. And like I never even shared that with you. Like thank you for showing up for me and like giving my mind a break from the shit I had to go through, because it's a shit week, and I'm still legally like everything is not in the clear, and you know it was tough. But seeing your face, and we joked about the podcast for a second, I'm like, wow, I have life outside of this, and I've like, you know, and when you're in grief, it's hard and shit is heavy and it feels dark, but there's those moments of seeing somebody's face, or just the way somebody does show care, and you do show care. Like
Matt, I don't know where I'd be if Matt hadn't invited me on a podcast during 2020, like a few months
Yeah.
after my dad passed. And I feel like it gave me some, because it was during COVID. He didn't die from COVID. He just died because he had a lot of stuff going on.
yeah,
But Matt got me into this world of podcasting, and it gave me something to do. I knew I had a few more years to go before I had 2 more years to go before I retired. But I feel like the podcasting, it's going to sound stupid, but this stupid Emerge business has kind of saved me. Like,
Yeah.
because I mean, like in the same thing. And like, I think I felt like I had to be there for you when your
Yeah.
grandma died, because like so many people were there for me when my dad passed.
yeah,
You know, and like that. And so definitely, I think that's like, for me, part of like I'm not just a producer. I'm not just charging you guys a
No.
little bit of rent to come in for me to press buttons for
Right,
you. Like
yeah.
I want this to be something special.
yeah.
And then I think it's on a goofy business side, and also it's a good business. It's
It's
to be a good
business.
It's like
yeah.
the people like, you know what? He's looking out for me.
100%. Well, and there's times like I'll be so honest, like Brittany's getting on my last fucking nerve, and she doesn't understand the branding direction I'm trying to go into, and
Yeah.
like I'm frustrated, so I'll text you like, I'm gonna kill her. She doesn't get it. This is a major branding opportunity.
It's funny
And
how
you're
many.
like, okay.
It's how many.
Okay.
So because most of the pods have a group chat.
Yes.
And I'm in all these group
Yeah.
chats. So like Maria's like, who's texting you now? And I'm
Yeah.
like, Well, I'm in like 20. I got 10 podcasts, and
Yeah.
she's like, so when we went to Italy, I definitely like left all those
Yeah.
groups short for when we were on vacation.
You should
so
meet us more
so
often
she
than
didn't
not.
leave me in Italy.
Yeah. She
um,
didn't commit a DV in Italy.
But at the same time, like there are definitely a lot of like, oh, I have to, broker a piece sometimes.
Yeah.
And I've been pretty successful for the most part to try to like, people will text me, hey, like and I even have gone to, sometimes I've had to go to someone on the pod and say
Yeah.
like the person maybe I have the better relationship with.
Yeah.
And say, hey, can you talk to this person about that?
Right.
Because like,
This doesn't look good. It's not going well. It's not
and
productive.
and to be honest, everybody is, like, not every pod has that, because I think yours is definitely like, I could text both of you and ask a question about, hey, what was going on?
Right.
And I think I would get
You get to the bottom of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
If like, because I definitely was texting, Brittany just to find out some things, like when I knew that it wasn't a good time to be texting you.
Yeah.
When you had stuff going
100.
on.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, is she all right? Like, just things like that, just making sure. Because
Yeah.
I do a lot of that. I think it's important that you have these relationships with
Yeah.
people. So, I mean, I think if you're going to, because all of this is about, if someone's listening to this, is that it's more than just trying to like sell T-shirts on your,
No.
on your
No.
Etsy or
I think
whatever,
it's like there's so many lanes. Like, one, it's self-soothing. It's two, it's a way to market yourself in a personal branding. But three, it's also like a community. Like, join the community.
Yeah.
Like, I've met some cool people here. Like,
Yeah.
some people that I would 100% do business with. Like, we've shared ideas together. Like, Tank and Nico.
Well,
like,
it was funny that I didn't get to produce the episode that Tank was on.
yeah.
And I was so glad that I wasn't there for that, because I
Poor
think I was,
Tank.
well, because no, you guys, and I will say, and I don't know if I ever told you this,
Yeah.
but I was like, really, you were so nice. The three of you were all incredibly generous to me.
Yeah.
And it really, and I don't know if you would have been that way if I was just over there pressing
No.
buttons.
I
think
probably
you
would
ended
have
up
been
having,
like, what would we do without Rich?
and it really, and again, I think that's because like if there's two people that I don't think really have anything in common, it's you and Tank. Like, you guys have nothing in common except
we talk about that. Like, the only thing we have in common is the need to like market ourselves. Like,
Yeah.
our
but you
content.
definitely could talk to the other person.
Oh, we do.
And get a lot of like, hey, this works for me, this
Yeah.
works for you.
Yeah.
And because you both have have similar goals.
Yeah.
And he's just he's just a great down to earth guy.
Yeah.
And he
I'm
doesn't take
definitely,
himself too seriously.
No.
And
And he also is on a podcast where he has a co-host, and it's like, what does, branding wise, like, me and him share those ideas, and we talk about reels and just, all social platforms, and we engage the hell out of each other. Like, if I see Tank stuff, I'm going through and
for
giving
sure.
it a double tap. I might throw an emoji in a comment. Like,
yeah, I'm super proud of like everybody's accomplishments
Yeah.
whenever they're like, something that they're proud of, that clearly like, and if someone says, hey, can you watch this? I try to watch everybody's stuff.
Yeah.
Even if I was here when it was made, like I still like to watch it and just,
from that bird's eye
and I
view.
have learned so much. Like, I don't claim to think I know everything.
No.
Like I think if I did, wouldn't be here much longer, because like you have, like, there are so many things that I'm constantly like, even once we kind of got the brick and mortar parts of
Yeah.
this done, I'm like, all right, now I have to focus on what new apps can I use. So now I'm
Right.
I didn't use Canva for the longest time. Now I'm using
obsessed
Canva
with
every
Canva.
day.
I use Canva.
And I love making thumbnails.
You
Like,
can
it's,
make reels on Canva.
Yep.
Like, Canva is such.
I'm even making some graphics for the videos now
100%.
on Canva, and then I'm just importing them because they look so much better. There's so
Yep.
much more templates to use.
I made all of our logos. So when me and Brittany were in the early stages of creating our podcast, I want to say we had like 15 names.
Right.
We narrowed it down to what we liked and didn't like. And then for the small handful we had left, I made a logo for each of them. And then I made a couple logos for each name. And we narrowed it down. Like, I made our logo on there. I make our thumbnail on there every
Right.
week. Like, Canva's not a part of our post-production each week at all, ever.
Right.
It hasn't been.
And your theme song is Ocean, right?
It's Frank Ocean.
Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
And I have that song in my playlist. The real one, not the one that we use.
Yeah, our
as
dubbed
the background,
version, yeah.
The dub version. So
Yeah.
it's funny, like, I have that song, and I get a little smile when that song
When it
comes up.
comes
Like,
on, yeah.
I like it,
Yeah.
little fun things like that. So we kind of went through a lot of things.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you're super proud of that you've accomplished so far? And
I think so that's one thing, is I don't want to over like just be so rigid with it. Like, the fact that we've been this consistent is a game changer for me. It's more than enough. Like, if nothing comes out of it, it's a space where me and Brittany can share and we spend time together. But I'm so proud of how consistent we've been. Like you said, we've only missed a few weeks, and it's because one of us was super sick, or there was 1 or 2 holidays we didn't do. Right. That was it.
Yeah, sometimes because like this year, I think because the holidays fell like on your day.
Yeah.
So we're like, well, we think we did one on a Sunday.
Well, and we'll pre-record too.
Yeah,
like we're gonna do our best not to miss and make an effort. And I think too, like, the commitment we have is what I'm the most proud of. Like, we are committed to this brand. We're committed to making it happen. Like, I'm committed to embarrassing myself or oversharing or talking about every guy I've ever dated on the podcast and giving him a nickname.
I was just going to say, I love the nicknames. The nicknames are great.
Yeah.
They're all really good. We won't bring them all back up here, but there's some really good ones. And, and those are one of the things I could go home and tell Maria.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Great nickname for the guy. She's like, and I told her the one, Mr.
Vitamin D.
Mr. Vitamin D.
Yeah.
And she just she just shakes her head because she knows you through a work environment.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
Sure.
So obviously she knows your cousin and she works close with your cousin.
Yeah.
So she's really like, she thinks you're great. And she does obviously know Brittany. She's only met Brittany once or twice now.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like she just thinks
she
you
gets
guys.
to see another
She
facet of us.
She just likes that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. Like, obviously, because life is very busy.
Yeah.
Brittany's got a son.
Yeah.
She's got a job. She's got the desire not to do things.
She loves, nothing is one of her favorite hobbies.
Yeah. So, like, do you feel like if you didn't have the pod, how often would you guys see each other?
If we didn't have the pod, I'd probably see her at best once a month, maybe once every couple months. Just because, it's a dual-ended sword. Like, with the pod, we purposely will make an effort to not be with each other all the time, and not all of our social settings aren't together. But also, it requires us to catch up with each other, touch base, see, like, and it's a mental health check. Like, how are you doing this week? Do you want to do this on the pod?
That was
or
kind
no?
of like the point that I wanted to get to. Like, most of my best friends in life, many of them don't live here anymore.
Yeah.
They've moved away, or you just lose contact. Life happens and things happen, and not by no one's fault. You're not mad at somebody. It just kind of happens. And then even the people that I'm very social with now, like, we'll go like 2 months and we don't see them.
Yeah.
And that's, for me, I think like again, that's another thing that the podcasting has done for me is I have a lot of new friends.
Yeah.
And a lot of younger friends, like friends. Then it's hard to be an old grumpy guy when you're hanging
really
around.
Not like that off camera, guys. I promise. He's like, did you guys know? He's like so excited. He's like golden retriever energy all day.
I go home and I pass out. And it's like, but it's funny. Like, there's things that, being a teacher, I was always like, it was really fun. Like, even things like, I remember kids teaching me, like, Mr. Meranto, what? Like, don't text with your index fingers. I'm like, what? He's like, if you're on your phone.
Yeah, you may not do a hard scroll this way. You may not do that. You got to do it with the thumb.
And I remember we had this long conversation of, like, with kids, like, because we had a rotary phone. So we used our index to press the buttons and use the rotary phone.
Yeah.
And they're like, so now we all just kind of go like this. So my generation's like, we like the young
How
people
are
go
we?
like
Yeah,
this.
why?
Gotta use your thumbs.
Yeah, you had to
Or
evolve.
Even like I've gotten away from doing this with my phone. Like, it's not a phone.
Stop.
Like,
yeah, you're not landlining it.
Hello.
Oh, man.
Like, I know people don't do that anymore. Like, give me a
Thank
call.
God.
Although we still do that. Give me a call.
Yeah. Well, that's like people say, how do you hang up the phone? And like some kids say like, a closed phone, or they do like the gesture of, closing the phone. And I'm like, oh man.
Well,
we actually talked about that on a reel. I was like, can you imagine on our at A&B Conversation on Instagram? Can you imagine cussing somebody out calling to cuss someone out on a rotary phone?
Yeah.
Fuck it. I'll see you in person and give you the same like just dialing.
Yeah, I gotta beat
all of your digits.
Get all your frustration. Especially if someone had a lot of zeros in their number.
Yeah.
That's a commitment.
You got to go around town to go get them. Yeah.
I do like to tell the old man stories. Like when I was a kid, if I had to call a girl, like first of all, you couldn't call past 10 o'clock because if you called a girl past 10 o'clock and the father answered the phone. Like, you were a criminal in that guy's mind. That guy's
he's like,
you did not call.
Hell?
And you also had a hope that the father didn't pick up the phone. Because
Yeah.
it wasn't like everybody had their own line.
My social anxiety, I would have
like,
shit myself
oh my
if
God.
I only had to call house phones.
There's nothing worse in my life the anxiety that I felt, first of all, in a house with two older brothers and a
Yeah.
father that was
Strict.
no, my father was just,
No?
he just make fun of you. Like he was
Oh,
just
yeah,
like,
he's gonna bust your
oh, he
balls.
busted my balls all the
Yeah,
time about, oh, you
yeah.
calling a girl? And I'm like, oh, you want me to,
Bring me
want any
home.
advice?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, Dad, leave me alone, please. Like, so you'd have to find a room
To
where
do
you
it
could like
privately
with a
call.
phone with a
Yeah, a
like,
cord
like a
trailing
cord,
behind you to
and
have
your
to
mother
find
yelling at
you.
you that she wanted to call her whoever. So I mean, like the anxiety of calling her, hi,
No.
Mr. Jones, Richie Meranto, can I talk to Karen? Like, like,
I would
just
die.
cracking up, like,
No.
oh, hi, like
No.
suddenly you're 11, like
Yeah,
trying to,
yeah. You have
like,
a
it's
lump
just-
in your throat and you don't know
no
how to
matter
make
how
it happen.
confident you are, talking to the guy's, dad on the phone was just the
It's not a
worst.
good setting.
That's just
No.
awful. Like,
Mm-mm.
so I am very protective. Like,
Yeah.
I've said, like, if any of your, anybody calls you trouble, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go kick their ass for you. 'cause
Yeah.
I,
I mean, I don't think,
got
I
your
think,
back.
I mean, we are the girls of Emerge. We were the first, like,
Yeah.
all girl podcast. We were the only one with, like, a pink set. Like,
Yep.
we're
You're the
obnoxiously.
bougie set.
We're the bougie set. We're obnoxiously
Everybody who
feminine.
comes in when I do my like 5-cent tour, they goes from
Yeah,
the front
yeah.
of the building to the back. Everybody loves that set.
Yeah.
They was like, oh my god, I'm like, guess this is like again, we have a lot of mansplaining
Yeah.
sets. So we
Goes
need a
from
girl,
all
we
these
need
shades of
girl
blue to, like, a
splaining,
little splash of pink. Yeah. On our, yeah.
Do you have a favorite episode? Or a
My
couple?
favorite episode is our death episode because I feel like we just were so soft and we shared a lot. Like I shared I want to be cremated and how death impacts people, and like there's so many different ways, like there's actual physical death, you're just dead, but there's also like shedding your life and moving on. And I love our death episode. It's my favorite. It was in season 1. I think it's episode 19 or something. It was an earlier on, maybe even 29, but early on.
Obviously you love the truth
Or shot. Yeah, truth or shot,
especially when you've had guests, are great.
I love truth or shot for guests because I feel like it makes people super comfortable.
Yeah.
And after so long, they're going to overshare because they're drunk. Like if they're not going to overshare, they're going to act a fool, which is great clickbait. It's good. Like it's good insight to especially professional people that, like our Madam President doesn't see me in the light of truth or shot or sharing all my dating history, but it makes people open up. Yeah, I have so much fun on the pod. Like if I didn't have fun, I'd probably wouldn't do it as much.
I think you have to find a way to like jazz it up, mix it up, and that's what I think sometimes pods fall apart because first of all, what's great about your pod in particular is that like anybody could listen
100% understand.
And it's not like tied to like your neighborhood or something or your town.
Nope.
It's anybody in the country.
Yeah.
So do you have followers? Do you know that are like any followers? That
Oh
are
yeah,
from really
we
far
have
away?
a decent amount of followers in the South. We have a community in Charlotte, and Charlotte, North Carolina. Was it North or South? Being like such a ditz right now, but
I'm not sure.
one of them, one of the Carolinas,
whatever one it is.
Charlotte, yeah. And they contribute, they participate. Because I lived in Michigan, we have a decent Michigan following, and I have not been back there in years, and I haven't lived there in over 11 years, but.
Well, it's
they
funny
still
because like
participate.
Tank was here last week, and we were talking about like they have this huge following in Philadelphia.
That is so cool.
They have more followers in Philadelphia than anywhere else, and then some other cities too. And I'm like, they don't talk about the Eagles.
Nope.
Like it just for whatever reason
works.
they've just vibed with that community. I think the nature of how they approach their pod.
Yeah, I mean, I think too. Like, I would never want to be a podcast where it's only understood locally or there isn't a good grasp of who we are, what our brand is, or what we're talking about on like a global scale. Like it's not how I operate. I'm not talking about like geographically specific things ever. Like if anything, we're talking about food we got maybe, or like a liquor store we went to, but it's not the meat of the whole conversation.
Any mistakes?
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah.
Anything like that you would turn into advice, or even something that's great that you'd give as advice?
So on our first episode, a fixture of the light fell down, and like we were just like, "Is this an omen to like what our podcast is gonna be?"
Well,
like
we had the thing fall off the light,
and then the bug. I don't think people don't
time.
know that there was a fucking probably like a 3-inch bug that flew directly at me while we were filming, and I like hauled ass out and ended up like perching on one of our light fixtures and looking down at us. Like it was super fucking weird. It was scary.
And
Yeah.
we also are pretty sure that building was haunted.
Yeah. We were told by a reliable source that there was
some
somebody spirits in
that was still hanging around after they had departed this world.
Yeah.
And that's funny because there's something, and I have to throw this out, is that like I have grown in my knowledge of things and my just becoming more open to listening to some of the stuff that you guys talk about, not just your pod, other pods too. Like you guys talk about horoscopes a lot, and even some things like you'll talk about, and then I'll go Google it and I'll read about it later.
Yeah.
That I think that I've picked up, and that I've evolved my belief system on some things from some of the things you talk about. Not that it's super philosophical, you don't.
No,
but
it's not like the end all be all. But I mean, if it applies, we're gonna share.
I'm much more aware of how horoscopes work.
Yeah. Oh,
and
we
signs work than I ever thought of.
Yeah. Because you're an Aries, you're built to be a little like apprehensive to like new information, and then once you get it, you're all in.
And I think like when you guys have explained it, like even I think some of these conversations were after we taped the show. But there's definitely like the exchange of ideas, you know, like hearing what younger people have to say about things. Is a great, and those are great topics I think that help us all. Like why I think I like podcasting so much is because in listening to other people's podcasts was like, oh, I never thought of it that way. Oh, I never thought of that perspective. And and then I go do some research on it, and then
like, holy shit,
somebody mentions a book, or or you'll often quote something that you read, and I'll go and I'll Google that later on.
I love a good quote. I have actually a Pinterest board for each year, and they're quotes I saved, and I'm like, okay, all these quotes applied within that year, and it's something I go back and reflect on. Like, God, I'm not in that space anymore. And some of them are like, our heart broke, and then some of them are like so encouraging and like, you got this, and some are just like, let's just make it through the year, like figure out what this year is going to be. Almost done. Any advice for people that are doing a podcast or want to start a podcast, or like something, anything like that? Anything like if you much advice is plan as much as you can, but also don't be so rigid. Like I was so rigid early on. Like I was really in season 1 at our old building, I was like really strict with guests and like wouldn't really give them insight to how they wanted to contribute to the episode that they were in. Because I'm like, it's my brand, it's mine. Plan as much as you can, ebb and flow, and really be consistent. I think consistency makes a world of difference. It's what's making us successful with A&B Conversation, and go for it. Like if it's even like a slight desire, go for it and just pivot as you go, versus you're not gonna have all the answers up front. You're not gonna know how you feel until you try. So go for it. Anybody out there you want to shout out or thank, or anyone in particular? Well, shout out to Canva first and foremost for the guy helping me. Yeah, whoever the team that built Canva. Whoever built Canva, just shout out to everybody. I think that's the plus of our podcast. We have all these people we share stories about. Like we surprisingly haven't gotten pushback from our loved ones about sharing some of their lives, their dating stories, their drinking stories, their finances, like some felonies that they've committed once upon a time. Like, I think it's shout out to everybody involved. Shout out to our consistent followers, and I can't wait to keep this up. Yeah. I want to thank you because I knew this would be fun. Yeah. I mean, we talk a lot, we do, but it was nice to sit down and really have a conversation where we could get, because I feel like first of all, there's not as many women in podcasting in general. Yeah. For there's certainly a lot of women in content creation. 100%. Way more that are gearing towards influencing than like audio sharing in the realm of podcasting and journaling or journalism this route. Yeah. No, I certainly appreciate you as a member of Emerge and as a member of like the family, and in that sense, and just how much fun we've had. And so it's I often think about it someday, like when these pods all end, blow up, when at some point somebody will be like, I'm just not doing, or maybe I'll get to that point. I think so opposite. I'm like, I can't wait till I'm on Forbes and I'm like sharing a story and they're like, how did your brand come? And I'm like, drinking with my cousin, and I had an awesome producer who just trusted my vision and just knew how to ebb and flow with us. That's awesome. Then I think that's the great positive attitude, because otherwise it's kind of like, Yeah. I always get nervous when I get that text. I got a problem. I got to talk to you. And I'm like, oh no. It's always, I'm like, cause it's the negative part of me, like that this is all going to blow up in my face and I'm going to be bankrupt or something. Even if Brittany quit, I would do my own thing. Like I'm not done podcasting by any means. I'm just going to ride this out and see where it goes. And
Because
how
I think
contributes to
there
my
is, like,
personal
for
brand.
me, I think there is such a I get so much reward of it, and it's not even like the likes or the clicks or
Yeah.
anything. It's just like the expression of ideas, whether I'm talking
100%.
about Pokemon
Yeah.
or if I'm talking about mental health. I feel like I said what I had to say,
Mhm.
and maybe I helped that one person. And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of like, if you're trying to think you're going to be famous, don't do it, because
No.
you're
Yeah,
going to
'cause
get
you won't.
disappointed.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're doing it because you feel like you've got something to say, and maybe the right person will hear it
Yeah.
and appreciate what you're trying to say or what you're trying to create, then at the end of the day, I think it accomplishes something.
And I think people don't realize too, like, it's podcasting is not easy, but it is really fulfilling being able to share an environment that you create with topics you set.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that the rest of the world agrees with you or is on your same wavelength or even understands where you're at, but it feels good to share.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And until next time,
This is
an
A&R
conversation.